Let me introduce myself. I'm Barbara Belmont. I'm the treasurer to the National Organization of Gay and Lesbian Scientists and Technical Professionals, Incorporated. And I wear many other hats from the STEM field. I'm a chemist. So tonight I'm here to facilitate the many ways that we are acknowledging high-achieving people. This conference is about leadership, mentoring, networking, and recognizing people who, well, deserve recognition. We are going to have poster contest winners. We will introduce our NOGLSTP scholars. We'll introduce our recognition awardees. First up, I would like to call Denise Connor, who is oSTEM's Vice President of Programs, and she was in charge of the poster contest. And I have to tell you all a little secret. I was supposed to be a judge, and I forgot. I was so beat, I went and I took my feet up and I put them up on the bed, and I totally forgot I was supposed to be a poster judge. So Denise, please forgive me, but would you come up and tell us all about the poster contest awardees?
Thank you, Barbara. Te absolvo. We had enough judges despite your forgetfulness. I forgive you. You did a lot of work helping make the conference stuff happen today, so thank you. So we had 29 posters in our poster session today, and we had several categories at different levels of technical expertise, as well as posters that based on leadership and teaching other people how to lead and creating leadership in our fields. So I'm going to start with the undergraduate poster awards. So each of you, when I call you, please come up. And I have a plaque for you, or a framed certificate for you that calligraphy curse study of Robin Baidia. Thank you so much. It's beautiful. And a gift bag, which has some stuff. It's a reminder to work hard and play hard. Because if you can't have fun, why do it? So we'll start with undergraduate awards. The undergraduate award goes to Christian Suarez. The graduate winner is Daniel Heller. And I also need to acknowledge there was a very, very, very close race. We actually had to do another poster evaluation, like a second evaluation. I'd like to acknowledge our runner-up, Eric Tobin, as well. Thank you. The postdoctoral poster award goes to Elena Long. And the leadership poster goes to Gary McDowell for the Future Research Symposium. Thank you, all of you. It was an amazing, amazing session. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you another secret. You might not know this. My wife is Shelley Diamond, chair of NOGLSTP. And I want to tell you something that happens a lot in my house. She takes a shower, and she comes out, and she says, "You'll never believe what I just came up with in the shower." So one of the things she came up with was the idea of Out to Innovate, this career conference thing. And the other thing she came up with one day was the idea of having scholarships for STEM students who are LGBTQ. And every time she does this, I go, oh my God, how are we going to pay for that? But the ideas get cultivated, and we start talking to people. And we were very lucky about 4 years ago that there was an organization who was interested in helping us with scholarships. And so we found a funding agency for our first 2 scholarships for outstanding LGBTQ plus people in STEM, undergraduate and graduate, and that was Battelle Memorial Institute, who funded us for 2 years. And for the last 2 years and for the coming year, our scholarship is being funded by Motorola Solutions Foundation. And tonight we have the great honor of having the executive director of Motorola Solutions Foundations to come and say a few words to us before we get into actually presenting the and acknowledging our 2013, 2014, and our 2014, 2015 scholars. So I'd like to bring up to the podium Matt Blakely from Motorola Solutions Foundation.
The honor is all mine, really, to be in front of all of you tonight. On behalf of the Motorola Solutions Foundation and Motorola Solutions, our executives, and all of our fantastic employees around the world, it really is an honor to support these scholarships. For those of you who don't know who Motorola Solutions is, we are the company that Motorola became in January 2011. When we spun the cell phone division off as Motorola Mobility. So if you have a Motorola cell phone that was made after January 2011, we thank you very much. We hope you're enjoying it, but we didn't make it. What we do make are the communications technologies and solutions that law enforcement and the fire service and several federal agencies use to communicate during times of crisis. And because those types of equipment and the types of equipment that many of the corporations here make are so important and so crucial and have to work not only when a firefighter is fighting a fire or when a law enforcement officer is chasing down a suspect, but have to work often when other forms of communication don't work. Because it's that important, our company has committed to 2 things. 1, people. And you cannot create products that are supposed to work in all sorts of types of environments, whether that's a city, whether that's a farm, whether that's an oil platform, unless you have a diverse range of people and people with diverse talent and diverse backgrounds contributing to the production of those products. Then the second thing is education. And we have supported since 2007 alone, over 120 different programs that provide hands-on science, technology, engineering, math education programs to students, especially students who are currently underrepresented in the STEM fields, and because we hope to really change that. And so when the opportunity came to support the scholarships with NOGLSTP, it was a perfect opportunity for us. It also brought together 2 of my favorite things. I sometimes say I have the best job in the company because I run the foundation. I get to distribute millions of dollars every year, and I get to work with all of our great employee volunteers. The other thing I get to do is I get to be the lead of our LGBT and Allies Employee Resource Group. So for my 2 favorite things to come together in one scholarship program like this is an incredible opportunity, and it really is an honor. And these scholars that you'll see deserve not only support for their personal journeys, but for their amazing academic journeys as well. I don't know how the committee made such difficult choices, because they really are incredible scholars. So thanks to all of you, and thanks to the committee, and thanks to these scholars for having us and allowing us to be part of this. This is my first oSTEM and NOGLSTP conference. It won't be my last, and we look forward to working with you guys for many more years in the future. Thanks.
David Crombeck, would you come up here, please? All right. So to present to you the scholars, I would like Shelley Diamond, who will tell you all about them, and David Crombeck, who is the scholarship committee chair, who might tell us a little bit about the process. And I have to tell you, it had to get taken out of the hands of us. because every time we read those scholarship applications, we started thinking about our retirement savings and how far that could be spread among all of the applicants. And maybe we would just, give all of our money away to these people who really, really deserve it and really, really are awesome. So, Shelley and David, take it away.
David, would you come up and talk about the committee?
Thank you. So I would like to address a special, big, huge thank you to all the committee members that reviewed all those incredible applications. I know some of the reviewers are in the room. Thank you again for giving us your time. This would not be possible without your help. So thank you again. And it is indeed a very tough job. When you read those applications, they are all very amazing and incredible, but a choice has to be made. And well, we want to thank you, the committee, for doing that choice very thoughtfully. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, David. We want to, NOGLSTP has only been doing Out to Innovate every other year. And so we don't always get to recognize the scholarship winners the year that they actually receive them. So tonight I want to start with our 2013 scholars, one of which was here until noon today, and he apologized, but he had another important engagement, which I told him it was much more important to go to. So I want to just talk just for a minute about Sam Brinton. I think that a lot of you know Sam. He recently finished his master's degree in nuclear engineering and technology policy at MIT. And prior to MIT, he graduated from Kansas State University at the top of his class. And he's organized a lot of things. He organized the first Gay Pride March in Manhattan, Kansas, challenged the city commission to add sexual orientation and gender identity as a protected class under its civil rights ordinance. He's been an advocate for conversion therapy survivors. And he's working to end the persecution of youth who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, intersex, and asexual. And for that reason, he needed to, I believe, fly to Geneva today to attend, I think, the United Nations function. So I thought that was a little more important than this. I also want to mention that he is dedicated to supporting the LGBTQ plus community in nuclear science and engineering, and is the newly elected student director of the American Nuclear Society, as well as the first out member of its board of directors, which I think is outstanding. And I'm very proud that he is the co-founder of Nuclear Pride, which is a caucus of NOGLSTP. So we're very happy to have presented Sam the 213 graduate scholarship. So please, let's have a round for Sam, even in absentia. And now I'd like to call up Mateo Williamson to the podium because we'd like to celebrate Mateo. Mateo was a senior at the University of Arizona at the time of his receiving the scholarship and graduated this past June. He was a pre-med student and I think is applying to med school now? Yeah, applying to med school. His dream is to become an LGBTQ friendly family physician for underserved populations in southern Arizona, and especially along the US-Mexican border. He actively works on both sides of the border to address social justice issues such as religious persecution of LGBTQ plus people. He also addresses spiritual abuse and the devastation of faith-based conversion therapy. Minority health disparities and immigrant abuse is, he covers the gamut, and I just am awed by him. So he does a lot of things with the Catholic Church, and just really is just an awesome person. So I'd like to introduce Mateo Williamson.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be able to stand here. And after I graduated from college just this past May. And to be honest, during my last year and throughout college, that didn't seem to be a real reality for me. It seemed like it might be an impossibility for me just due to finances. And I came out as transgender 3 years ago. And when I did, in Arizona, there weren't many resources in terms of finding funding to cover everything in terms of medical and psychological support. And so I used my school loans, but that really was a life-saving choice for me. But also I was struggling to finish school, and so this actually made it possible for me to finish college, and it's just incredibly emotional to look out on this group of individuals who really have inspired me and support me, and thank you for providing for this scholarship for me. So thank you.
Okay, so this year's scholars are also awesome. I'd like to call up Natalie Lembrecht to the podium. Is she here? Hey, there's Natalie. Natalie has just finished her major in health science at St. Mary's College of California. And she's worked on 2 research projects at the college and has presented her research to professional societies. And she's received numerous academic awards, including the Joseph P. McKenna First Place Summer Research Award and the Julia Pride Award for Outstanding Scholarship as a Health Science major. She was also a member of the St. Mary's Division I women's rowing team, competing as an athlete for 3 years and student coaching for the 4th. Natalie seeks to be an advocate for the LGBTQ positive community. Plus, they're always positive. I don't know, it's a positive community, but plus community. I've been reading too many figures. Okay. And as an activist for lesbians on her college campus. She's volunteered at Lion Martin Health Sciences Services. Boy, I'm having hard trouble. A clinic serving underinsured members of the LGBTQ plus community. Natalie is currently working as an intern at Blood Systems Research Institute in San Francisco, and I'm just awed by all the things she's done, and what an athlete. And please welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really honored to receive this scholarship. It's been really helpful. I'm in my last semester at St. Mary's College, which is a very small liberal arts college, and so I was one of the few people that were out, especially in the STEM fields. There were maybe myself and my partner, so I'm really honored to receive this scholarship. Thank you to Motorola Solutions Foundation and NOGLSTP, and I couldn't have been here without the mentorship from my university, so all of you that are looking for mentorship, I know there are a lot of workshops on that, so it's really helpful for me, and very thankful for my partner who's here tonight for all of her support in my college education. So thank you.
The last person I'd like to call up is our graduate scholar, Leslie Kirby. Please come to the podium. When I read Leslie Kirby's application, I cried. I don't know if I can read this. Anyway, she's a PhD candidate in nuclear engineering at the University of Idaho. That in itself is incredible. Growing up in a predominantly Mormon culture, she completed her Bachelor's of Science in Physics in 1998. and then paused her science career to focus on raising her children. Following a divorce and coming out over a decade later, she re-entered science to support herself and her 5 children. Her research is in applied nuclear physics. She has partnered with Los Alamos National Laboratory to upgrade parts of the spallation reaction models used within the transport code MCNP6 for her dissertation. She was awarded the American Physical Society M. Hildred Blewett Fellowship in 2013-14, one of only three female physicists across the United States to be so recognized. In addition, she was a Roy G. Post Foundation Scholarship recipient in 2013, recently was chosen by the American Nuclear Society as a John and Muriel Landis Scholar, and is a member of the U.S. delegation for the 2014 International Conference on Women in Physics. So I know that Leslie is shy and didn't really want to say anything. You still don't want to say anything? Okay, that's fine. But I just think that her life arc is so worthy of this scholarship and our support. So please congratulate Leslie Curtis. They're just all fantastic, including all the applicants. So please do consider applying for these scholarships. And I hope to raise more money for these things. And I'm so glad I'm not in the shower right now.
Thank you, everybody. On our awards agenda next is recognition awards from oSTEM, and I'd like to call back up to the podium AP Fritz, the Vice President of Finance from oSTEM, who will tell us all about the STEM Award and I believe the chapter awards. So AP?
This conference has been a lot of work, and we could not have done it without the gracious and wonderful support of NOGLSTP, and so we wanted to thank them very quickly and in a small way to show our gratitude and our appreciation. With, of course, any of you who know me, you know exactly where I got these gift cards. Starbucks gift cards.
We'd like to recognize a few of our chapters that did things, and they went especially beyond what is asked of them to get themselves here to be with us this weekend. So the first thing we'd like to do is to recognize the chapter with the most conference attendees. And since I don't want you to fill the stage, if you could maybe send just one person up, we'll get a photo, and then we'll take a photo with everyone else afterward. So I'd like to congratulate the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign for bringing the most conference attendees.
So we wanted to thank you, and so with that, we decided that a small pizza party was in order. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Next, we'd like to recognize the chapter that traveled the furthest distance to be with us this weekend. So if, again, just maybe one person, and we'll get a photo afterwards, but UC Berkeley, if you could send a representative up. And now, next, I'd like to recognize a chapter that really had to go out of their way to make this happen, to be a part of this conference this weekend. We couldn't have done what we're doing without them, and it was a major hurdle for them. So we'd like to recognize the chapter that traveled the shortest distance. So if Georgia Tech could send a representative out. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Now I have the pleasure of doing the Founder Awards for outstanding dedication to multiple oSTEM chapters. Please, Chris Seif, would you please come up? And Robin Bide-Gacker, yes. Excellent. And now we have a very special award. We call it the Changemaker Award. And some student leaders face a plethora of challenges on their campuses and persevere in the goal of making change. Trinity is president of the oSTEM at Capital Technological University. Thank you for your hard work to influence change and make an important and lasting impact. Trinity, would you please come up to the stage? We will get this to her later, along with her pizza party. Every year, we give out an award to some unsuspecting individual who has selflessly carried the LGBTQ community forward in the STEM fields. This award recipient is an active student, alumnus, national organization leader, or in this case, multiple national organizations, or sponsor member of oSTEM. This recipient has demonstrated a strong dedication to oSTEM, LGBTQA students, and STEM education. An outstanding role model for future STEM LGBTQA students, an accomplished academic or professional in their industry or field of study, regularly advocates for underprivileged people, and continuously strives to understand the most important, most effective methods for reaching equality for all people. Z has been instrumental in my own personal growth, as well as other oSTEM board members, and whether you know it or not, your own growth as well. Z has advocated for people who could not advocate for themselves, stood up for people when no one else would, or no one else even noticed. Of course, coming from a STEM background, Z understands that you cannot do anything without numbers, and has written several papers backing reality with numbers.
In addition to our recipient being instrumental in maintaining awareness within oSTEM and making sure that our gender and sexual minorities are covered and taken care of. They also have helped found LGBT plus physicists and was instrumental in getting that incorporated into the American Physical Society, which now has taken off, I think, without their exact leadership, but has moved on to do a whole lot of other things and is also doing a lot of instrumental work in organizing LGBT people in national labs. And also, as demonstrated by getting a poster award earlier, this person also is an accomplished academic who is coming in to really develop really new models and new understanding of physics. So I'd really like to, it's an honor to welcome Elena Long up to the podium.
Wow. This was entirely unexpected. And I'm fighting back tears a little bit, but that's okay. Really, the point of all that I've been doing has been coming from a point of going throughout my STEM career so far and hitting a number of challenges along the way. And every challenge that I've faced has, well, not every. A lot of challenges that I face have been based on culture and have been based on kind of the state of how things are. And the reason why I keep doing what I'm doing is for all of you. I don't want any of you to have to go through some of the things that I've gone through. I don't want you to have to go through the isolation. I don't want you to have to be alone. I want you to be able to know that we're here. And as I look out on all of you here and just think what it would have been like, just 10 years ago if I was an undergrad and at this conference, if so different in such a short time. And I'm really excited to work with you all and to continue helping you on your paths and to really see where you all go. So in this award, really, I want to thank you all for being here and supporting one another and doing what you do for your community for one another, because you will keep each other together. You will survive. You will thrive. You will be absolutely amazing in your fields, and I can't wait to watch it.
Pretty awesome. 13, 14 years ago, somebody else had an idea in the shower, not my wife, who grew up without having any role models in STEM, no gay people in STEM. Now you look around here and you see peers, you see colleagues, and you see mentors here. And a lot of us didn't have that. And we got to thinking, at the urging of the person who's going to be facilitating the next part of our awards ceremony, that it would be pretty awesome if we could showcase the accomplishments of an otherwise invisible group of people in STEM and start inspiring young people to know that there wouldn't be the only one entering into this field. And so we established a awards program, a recognition awards program for outstanding people in science, engineering, education. And so I would like to call up to the podium John Burke, who will facilitate the next part of the ceremony.
It was his idea.
To the conference. It's my honor to present the National Organization of Gay and Lesbian Scientists and Technical Professionals Recognition Awards. You'll notice I didn't say NOGLSTP. The reason I didn't say NOGLSTP is because I learned from my own corporate vice presidents and presidents about 10 years ago that unless you say the words gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, they don't count. So I will be using NOGLSTP as an acronym going forward, but I wanted to make sure everyone heard it at least once. NOGLSTP recognizes LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, say it, STEM awardees because even though being LGBT in STEM fields is a much smaller issue than it used to be, particularly when I was growing up, we believe it still matters and needs to be recognized. While our efforts can contribute to science, engineering, and education in both small and large ways, it matters that we recognize the work of the LGBT scientists, engineers, and educators to support the members of our community, because we should recognize our own successes. If we don't, no one else will. But also to use that recognition to encourage today's future STEM majors to be who they are and not try to fit someone else's mold. To quote a recent article in Bloomberg Business Week by Tim Cook, the chairman of the Fortune 1 company, he said, "If hearing that the CEO of Apple is gay can help someone struggling to come to terms with who he or she is, or bring comfort to anyone who feels alone, or inspire people to insist on their equality, then it's worth the trade-off with my own privacy." So I would like to think that by presenting these awards, we are doing our part, helping anyone struggling with who they are, bringing comfort to anyone who feels alone, or inspiring anyone to achieve greater. Tonight, I'm extremely fortunate to present 3 such inspiring examples, from working on deep space exploration to gravity wave detection, from innovative teaching techniques to advancing the LGBT cause for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Tonight's awardees all have made significant contributions in their fields and in the LGBT community. We'll begin with our award to the 2014 Scientist of the Year, and to present that award, I call on Shelley Diamond to come on back to the podium one more time.
I want to introduce to you Nergis Mavalavala, who could not be here tonight. She had a conflict that for months she tried to undo, but could not. But first I want to read to you my introduction for her, and then I want to read to you her comments, because she couldn't be here. Professor Nergis Mavalavala joined the physics faculty at MIT in January 2002. Before that, she was a postdoctoral associate and then a research scientist at Caltech, working on the Laser Interferometric Gravitational Wave Observatory, otherwise known as LIGO. She's been involved with LIGO since her early years in graduate school at MIT, and her primary research has been in instrument development for the interferometric gravitational wave detectors. Professor Mavalavala received a PhD in physics from MIT in 1997 and a BA in physics and astronomy from Wellesley College in 1990. I'm going to call her Nergis because that's really who she is. She's Nergis. Her efforts in quantum metrological methods has earned her numerous accolades, including the 2013 Joseph M. Keithley Award for Advancements in Measurement Science and a 2010 MacArthur Fellowship, a Genius Award. In addition to her technical accomplishments, Nergis is an out physicist with a partner and young daughter. She is an inspiration for all minority students because there are no limits to what you can do just by being yourself. She actually is a Pakistani lesbian. So she sent us her remarks. I'm Nergis. Hello, everyone. I'm very disappointed to miss this year's Out to Innovate Summit. I will miss seeing old friends and making new ones, and I really wanted to be there to express in person my gratitude to NOGLSTP for the much needed important work of making the STEM world a more safe and welcoming place for the LGBT community. I know there are many scientists out there who, like me, are inspired to be active, out, and proud because of the advocacy of NOGLSTP. NOGLSTP has enabled us to gain visibility, safety, and community in the workplace, as well as more tangible benefits such as expanded health coverage for ourselves and our families. Attending Out to Innovate 2012 was an amazing, energizing, and inspiring event for me. Actually, she was our keynote speaker that year. And I am really bummed to miss it this year. I will be thinking of you all this Saturday, wishing I could be there with you. I'm truly grateful, honored, and humbled to be the recipient of the 2014 NOGLSTP Scientist Award. Whether we are gay geeks, or queer dorks, or lesbian nerds, or simply scientists and engineers who happen to be gay, I am proud to be one of us. I have had the great fortune of being an out and proud scientist throughout my career, inspired by amazing teachers and mentors, activists and visionaries. I want that for every one of us, and together I hope we can make it happen. Thank you again for this honor. It means a great deal to me, and I look forward to future NOGLSTP summits.
And now I'd like to call to the stage Julia Fowler from the oSTEM group at Tufts University to present our 2014 Educator of the Year Award.
Hello, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Julia. So Professor Atherton isn't exactly someone you can do justice to in an introduction, but I've been given that task, so here goes. I can't exactly remember the first time when I met Professor Atherton, but I really started getting to know him when I started the oSTEM chapter at Tufts. After that, it was mostly a matter of overexposure. I study astrophysics, and so I practically live in the physics library, and Professor Atherton is a physics professor, so does he. And on one such occasion, Professor Atherton was buzzing around the physics library with enormous golden heart-shaped balloons. We were really curious as to why he had these balloons, and when we asked him, he said that he had been feeling too butch and he wanted to tone down his image. We figured out later they were actually for a static electricity demo in his E&M class. That's just one of the many examples of how Professor Atherton, or Tim as he continues to insist I should be calling him now, infuses his classes and academic spaces with queer humor. He ensures that his queer students feel completely comfortable and endears himself to the rest. He is a mentor of the entire department, although he especially likes to practice, as he jokingly calls it, gay nepotism. Though his activism extends beyond being out in the classroom, as he's played a major role in the LGBT+ physicists organization. Without Tim, the growing queer STEM community at Tufts would have never been possible. His constant support in creating an oSTEM, from his connections with other groups, departments, and administrators, to his ability to gather phenomenal speakers from thin air, was the backbone of our oSTEM. He's an amazing professor and generally an amazing person. He's been a beneficent presence in the physics department, loved by professors, postdocs, and students, regardless of whether or not they've taken his classes. His casual negligence of the so-called respectful distance between student and professor is perhaps one of my favorite things about him. Whereas most of the professors will segregate themselves from the rest of the students in the physics office, where people have to be very brave to approach them, Professor Atherton will come slum in the physics library with the rest of the students. He'll giggle with us during astronomy colloquium concerning Harlow Shapley's galactic bulge, and he'll set aside a few hours every week to work with the research students in his group side by side. Although Tim is more than just a great professor, he's also a phenomenal physicist. We often like to joke in the department about the little quirks of professors that are a little too lost in their intelligence to behave normally. If we exclude all of the strange manner of vocabulary that Professor Atherton claims to be a British thing, as we're still pretty sure buggeration should not count, Professor Atherton's major quirk seems to be that he's too good at coding. He's so lost in Mathematica that he doesn't know how to live without it. Once, when he was applying for a conference, he needed a word count for one of his proposals, and instead of using the word count function built into Word, he copied the text of his proposal, copy-pasted it into Mathematica, converted the text into a string, counted the number of spaces, and submitted that as his final word count. Perhaps this is a bit sappy, but when I heard Professor Atherton was applying for the award, I was a bit surprised that it hadn't been created in his image. I can't imagine a professor more considerate of his students and more dedicated to queer outreach. I'm so honored to have been asked to introduce him tonight, and I won't delay you any longer from the man himself.
Well, that was quite an introduction. How can I follow that? That was really amazing. So obviously, I'm really grateful to NOGLSTP for this wonderful award, and I'm really very honored. And I've really enjoyed this wonderful conference. I think there's an amazing synergy between oSTEM and NOGLSTP's work. And to be perfectly frank, I would say don't change anything for next time. This has been phenomenal. It's been absolutely great. I'm also grateful to the students and faculty of Tufts who've made it a wonderful experience. And congratulations to so many jumbos in the audience. Never a word you want to mention in a gay environment, but whatever. And also, it was just so wonderful, seeing Els receive the oSTEM prize, because LGBT+ physicists has been a real inspiration and a source of support to me. So I'm really grateful to you, and it was great to see Els recognized. That was a really special moment. So having said that, and I think our success has been due to recruiting people. So having said that, I'm primarily an academic. I'm an educator. And I don't hear people say this very much, so I'm going to say it. Being gay has made me a better educator. I am a better person because I am gay, right? And the reason that is that it's made me aware of the power structures that exist within the classroom, within the academic environments. It's made me empathetic to my students. It made me willing to adopt a non-hierarchical approach to my pedagogy, to leave the lectern and kind of create classes that were a little bit more fun and interactive and engaging. So I'm an academic, I'm an educator, and my role, I think, in society is to speak the truth to power, to provoke, to push, and to help society advance to a better version of itself. And with that in mind, I was so inspired by Lynn Conway's speech this morning. I just wanted to kind of respond to it and to say, well, here are some things that I really want to imagine in the future, very briefly. And the first one is that when I came to Tufts, I found that the students were happy to be out in the LGBT center, but they weren't really happy to be out in the laboratory, in the classrooms. I felt that the current model for diversity in higher education is that we've got these centers that are safe spaces, but actually you deserve to feel welcome and included everywhere on campus. And that needs to, okay. It needs to, that needs to extend everywhere. So this is my first grand challenge is inclusion everywhere. My second is that I've been to a lot of trainings for allies, and it's very, there's a lot of jargon in our community. There's a lot of philosophy. This is great. If you ever have a chance to take a class in it, you absolutely should. But to get allies on board, I think we need to tell them exactly what we need from them. We need to have very clear learning objectives. And I think we need to create something that I would call diversity education research, mirroring what we have in physics education research to help us learn the best techniques for persuading allies to help us and to create that inclusive vision. The third thing we need to do is that because rights for LGBT people have become, almost I hate to say the word, but almost fashionable, we need to remember that the rights and advancement for LGBT people only makes sense if it takes place in a context where we liberate all oppressed people. And so, no more applause. We got to get through this. We got to get through this, right? So it only takes place where we do it for all oppressed people, and what that means is that support for LGBT people within organizations should not it doesn't excuse unethical behavior in other places. So we have to be vigilant against being used as a smokescreen. Okay, very quickly, the last two are that since we can contemplate this future society where marriage, for example, we can begin to imagine a case where marriage is done as an argument. That's wonderful. It's a great joy to us. What's next? And I think that given that we have the minds in this room have such brilliance and innovation, I think the next thing is to look at LGBT people who continue to be oppressed in our society. And they are youth, homeless people. They are the elderly. I was struck by that. They are the poor. And I think that if we together can help contribute to improving that, that would be a remarkable outcome. So the final thing, and this has become very apparent to me over the past year, is that if we at this conference succeed in promoting a bit more visibility and a bit more inclusion for undergraduates, that would be fantastic. But we need to do more than that. And that is that I've become, as I watch my colleagues and I watch my friends go through the tenure process and seeing people in other organizations, I kind of now understand why people drop out of STEM, to be honest. I can see the forces that push them away. And as a result of this, the response has to be that we have to create a robust community that can keep us in. And it's exactly that sort of thing that's going. We need to keep that community going. So those are my 5 grand challenges. And so I want to thank the organizers again and thank NOGLSTP for the order. And I want to invite you to help me bring them about. So thank you.
And to present our last award for 2014 Engineer of the Year, I'd like to call up to the stage Ms. Wanda Segure, Vice President and Deputy General Manager of Lockheed Martin Civil Space Group.
Thank you. Well, good evening. Have any of you here ever looked up into the evening sky, looked at the stars, and wondered if we were alone here on the planet? I heard a few astrophysicists are in the audience. And so you got to recognize that the kind of person that's willing to tackle those challenges not only has to be smart, they have to be special, and they have to be someone who's willing to explore deep truth. It's my pleasure and honor to work with an engineer who's played a critical role in shaping our understanding of these deep questions. Not only because she's smart, but because she's learned how to search for real truth. Christine Bland has worked on the Spitzer Observatory, an orbiting infrared space telescope that let us actually see planets around other stars for the first time. Before then, they were only inferred from what we knew of our own solar system. Spitzer also captured the light from the first stars formed after the Big Bang. Christine's fingerprints are also on the moon, the sun, and beyond our solar system. She's worked on the Grail mission that gave us amazing information about the moon's interior. It's helped us understand the evolutionary history of the Earth. She was involved in stardust, which brought back samples from a comet, revealing a few surprises, including amino acids, indicating life as we know it is possible outside of our solar system. She also worked on the Genesis program, which brought back solar wind samples, and she's got hardware scheduled to reach the planet Jupiter in 2016. Christine's crowning career achievement to date is fault management electronics, originally built for the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and currently being used on other space vehicles. And that's a major point for me. There's so many folks who saw almost immediate video of Mars Curiosity landing, and no one ever questioned, how did we get those pictures? Right now, Christine is working on NASA's Orion program, working to create the next generation of space vehicle to take humankind to deep space. On Orion, she's the digital subject matter for avionics and the point of contact for miniaturized computing systems, FPGAs, and ASICs for the entire Orion program. Not only a critical engineer in critical programs, Christine is active in STEM. She's been an adjunct lecturer in the engineering department at Denver Technical College. She also designed a computer system for process telemetry for astrophysics rockets for the University of Colorado. With her success in these programs, critical to not only the United States or humankind, you wouldn't imagine that Christine struggled in her personal life. When Christine Bland started her life as Richard Parks Bland Jr., she had to first learn about her true self. The temptation to walk the expected, accepted path was intensified by being given a family name steeped in tradition that traces all the way back to Richard Bland of the Continental Congress. The same drive for truth and scientific understanding that would later lead Christine to solve complex space vehicle avionics problems was first tested in her early years. Like many transgender people, Christine has memories from a very early age of seeking to understand her truth. Christine recalls that as a 5-year-old child in the late 60s, she wished she were more like her sister, yet she had no language for what she was feeling. She liked dressing in her mother's and sister's clothes. She did not know that this was not normal until others teased her. In that teasing, she learned not only that this was not acceptable, she also learned not to share herself with others. After high school, Christine went to work for her father in his photography business. The travel and working with new people every day helped to develop her communication skills. And as she succeeded, she began to gain self-reliance. This gave Christine the confidence to pursue a degree in engineering. It was during this time that Christine, still Richard, met and married her soulmate, Julie. Julie and Richard were married for over 30 years. They have 2 children, a son, Richard, and a daughter, Susan. And while Christine struggled in her personal life, she flourished in her professional life. Looking back, professionally, Christine was applying profound technical understanding to solve problems that in due course helped make the world a better place. In her personal life, Christine followed the same approach. Today, Christine has a good relationship with her son and daughter, her parents, and her siblings, and she is a role model in the transgender community. She's been a role model for me. Her leadership has helped Lockheed Martin to maintain a constant aerospace defense company presence in recruiting at transgender career fairs in Denver, helping combat the disproportionately high underemployment rate of transgender STEM professionals. Christine's featured in Lockheed Martin's It Gets Better video, reaching out to curb LGBT youth suicide by proving them with the message that they can be anything they want to be. She also presented one of the opening workshops at the 2013 Out and Equal Workplace Summit in Minneapolis, and she's teaching us at Lockheed Martin. She took the stage and shared her truth with 200 of the highest level executive leaders and next generation LGBT leaders at Lockheed Martin's LGBT Leadership Forum attended by the corporation's CEO and CFO. Christine leads the corporation's Transgender Council, delivering policy and procedure guidance and facilitating numerous on-the-job gender transitions. She paints art in her free time and donates the proceeds to charity fundraisers, including Hannah's Hope and Project Angel Heart. She plays a trombone in a swing band, donating performances to Colorado's AIDS Project, Denver Pride Fest, and numerous community fundraisers. Christine's successful journey embodies the ideals every STEM professional strives to attain: technical and personal strength, passion for truth, and the drive to make the world a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Christine Bland, the LGBT Engineer of the Year.
Wow! Woo! I like that person. I'd like to meet her. Thank you, Wanda. That was fantastic. I'm speechless. And I have a few words here. I'm used to taking a mic and walking around, so I'm a little strange here with the podium. Thank you, NOGLSTP, for selecting me as Engineer of the Year. Oh, I'm fine. When I first heard, I had a hard time putting this into perspective. I just could not wrap my mind around being the Engineer of the Year. So I asked myself, what does it represent? And this is what I came up with. Having grown up in the 60s, I had the opportunity to watch the space program develop from its infancy. I watched Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. I fell in love with engineering. I fell in love with a space program. I can now say I've been involved with space missions for over 25 years. I've worked on orbiters, landers, science probes, space-based telescopes, and now Orion. Reflecting back, Neil Armstrong definitely was one of my role models, and I cannot deny he and others greatly affected my life. In the first week of December, just a few weeks away, the first Orion test vehicle will launch, and I'm deeply proud to be a part of that effort. Orion being the next step in the exploration of space, and I'm a part of it. When I first started my transition, I was scared to death. I had the fear of losing the respect that I had for all the years that I'd worked. Was afraid that the credibility that I had established would go up in a puff of smoke, and God forbid my career would be over. That did not happen. Instead, it blossomed in ways I could not imagine. I am doing today, and I will continue today, due to, in the future, things that I never dreamed of before when I first watched the first man walk on the moon. 3 years ago, I needed a new role model. When I completed a transition where I let the world in and I let myself out. Hopefully I don't start to cry here. I get a little emotional sometimes. I started living a true and authentic life. It wasn't easy. It didn't happen instantaneously. I struggled mightily. I continue to struggle. There are times where the fears and doubts just weigh on me constantly. When I have those moments of self-doubt, I look to role models, to where I can grab the best of the best and incorporate those elements into my life. As a result, not only has my engineering career gone in ways I'd never dreamed of before, but a love of life that I never experienced before. As a result, I have to give back. I have to give back in spades. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for others before me. I see this achievement as a confirmation that I am making a difference. Joanne McGuire has been one of my role models for years. She's a female engineer that became the executive vice president of a Lockheed Martin Space Systems company. Joanne must have had a singular moment where she realized that she was a role model for a larger community and knew it. Before she retired, I had the opportunity to hear her speak at the first Lockheed Martin LGBT Leadership Forum. She reflected on her role as everybody saw her. And the message I took away from the talk she gave, was there aren't enough role models out there to inspire the best in us. I have been highly visible in the engineering community and in the general community at large for the last 3 years plus, whatever. And from time to time, I think of myself as a role model, but I dismiss it. I'm just somebody doing what needs to be done, just my day-to-day job. This award has given me that singular moment that Joanne must have felt when she understood that she was something part of something big, something important. I am overcome with the honor that Lockheed Martin nominated me to be presented for the Leadership of the Year award. And I have to thank everybody on that team that put forth a lot of effort, and especially Lance Freeman, who I couldn't have done it without him. Thank you. I'd like to thank oSTEM and NOGLSTP for hosting this event. And I'd like to thank the National Organization of Gay, Lesbian, Technical Professionals for this honor and giving me a chance to stand here and talk about the awesome things that I am doing. I'd also like to say one more thing. Someday, one of you may be up here, standing here accepting an award, and I hope you feel the joy that I feel in knowing that I am helping others achieve their dreams. In closing, I'd like to thank my role models, especially Joanne, for helping me understand the importance of being something more to a larger community. Thank you, and may I make you and this group proud.
We have a little surprise. And here to talk about the surprise is NOGLSTP board member Tim Wilson.
Good evening, folks. I'm Tim Wilson. I'm the chair of the Department of Electrical, Computer, Software, and Systems Engineering at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's almost as bad as NOGLSTP. I'm a member of the NOGLSTP board, and I really just want to take a moment to remind everybody about the New Faces of Engineering College Edition recognition. It's open until the 14th of November. There's a link to the application on the College Edition page, a Facebook College Edition page. So you go to www.facebook.com/College Edition, one word, College Edition. If you're a junior or a senior or fifth-year senior engineering student, a member of either oSTEM or NOGLSTP, please apply for the NOGLSTP College Edition recognition and a $500 scholarship. Oh wait, we have one more award to give. The Walt Westman Award recognizes those individuals who, by their extraordinary efforts and imaginative vision, have advanced the mission of NOGLSTP. Through actions like authoring the Who Are the Gay and Lesbian Scientists and organizing a AAAS symposium entitled Homophobia and Social Attitudes, Their Impact on AIDS Research, Walt Westman started the conversations we've continued here today. He was the founder of NOGLSTP and an advocate for gay and lesbian scientists. He was a person with HIV and AIDS and an advocate for persons with HIV and AIDS, and he was an advocate for gay and lesbian rights until the end of his life. Walt Westman saw that an organization of gay and lesbian scientists could fight homophobia in scientific and technical communities and could educate people outside those communities about scientific matters regarding our communities. As Walt Westman envisioned a national organization for gay and lesbian scientists, John Burke envisioned NOGLSTP's recognition awards. John, please come up here. In order to make sure that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender scientists were recognized for their achievements, John developed the program which we currently includes the LGBTQ+, and let's make sure everybody knows that, you've heard it from John already, but LGBTQ+ is a shorthand for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, queer, questioning, intersex, two-spirit people, asexual, and sometimes, depending on context, allies. The LGBTQ+ Scientist of the Year, LGBTQ+ Engineer of the Year, and LGBTQ+ Educator of the Year, and this Walt Westman Award, as well as awards for supporting institutions, organizations, and corporations. Our own paths to success as out scientists, students, and engineers has been made easier by recognizing the exceptional achievements of our awardees. And if you're in the room, please stand up. Larry Wagner, Shelley Diamond, Lynn Conway, Sim Aberson, Carrie Say, Michael Parga, Denise Denton, who's not with us anymore, Peter Vincek, Carolyn Bertozzi, Tim Gill, Chris Banachke, Carl Mousy, Michael Steinberg, Michael Falk, Arnold Zwicky, James Nowick, Tony Gingis, Virginia Uribe, Jay Kiesling, Jesse Bering, Donna Riley, Ron Buckmeyer, Bill Hendricks, Bill Huffman, Martin Lowe, Amy Ross, Mark Pope, Charles Laquelle, Nurgis Malvalvala, Christine Bland, and Tim Atherton. Our recognition, so please give these folks a round of applause, please. Our recognition of these individuals' achievements is all because John Burke had the idea that such recognition would make a difference, and because he's done whatever it took to make that idea a reality. John graduated from the University of Texas in Austin as a physicist, went to work at Hughes Aircraft in Tucson, and worked his way up through several defense contractors to his current position as a senior program manager at Raytheon, where he supervises several large teams who supply leading-edge defense technologies to the U.S. government. It's all classified stuff. John always believed that LGBTQ plus persons should find safe ways to be visible and proud of themselves in this world, and that this world should find reasons to respect and honor LGBTQ plus persons. His own path of visibility and pride and respect and honor has not been without challenges. When his first partner was dying of AIDS, John was denied visitation rights at the hospital. When John's father first found out that John was gay, his father told him, "Don't bring any men to our house." When John met a man he wanted to become involved with, but the man was in the closet, John told him, "While I respect your journey, I don't want to be seen as your roommate. I want our friends and family to know how significant we are to each other." And when at work one night several years ago, some of John's colleagues thought it was appropriate to tell a bigoted joke that implied that all gay people should be killed. John turned each of these situations around. He was instrumental in founding and serves on the board of a nonprofit that has raised funds and distributed emergency assistance for over 1,500 people in Texas, North Texas, living with HIV and AIDS. John's parents now welcome both John and his husband, Kevin Janisak, into their homes with hugs and smiles. When John and Kevin got married 6 years ago, John's mother didn't contact John. She just called Kevin and said, "Welcome to the family." And you might imagine Kevin's been helpful in providing some information here. And Kevin is the man who was in the closet that John was interested in. And Kevin came out of that closet 21 years ago after he and John started dating, and the visibility of John's and Kevin's love and commitment to each other has had positive impact on everyone they know. And that night at work, when John's colleagues inadvertently admitted their bigotry about gay people, John engaged his colleagues. He calmly told them that he was gay and that it seemed like they had just implied that his life didn't matter. The episode led his employer to put diversity education programs in place. By talking about what had happened to him at work, John helped other gay and lesbian colleagues step forward, blossom in their jobs, and move into leadership positions. Just as Walt Westman had the vision that an organization of gay and lesbian scientists would have an impact on the world, John Burke had the vision that recognition awards for LGBTQ plus STEM professionals and educators would make a difference. John hoped that highlighting the great work our colleagues do would increase acceptance in our workplaces, break down barriers in our professional communities, and make it easier for those of us who are students to be ourselves fully in the classroom. It is my great honor and privilege to be able to present the 2014 Walt Westman Award for dedication and commitment to the advancement of NOGLSTP's mission to my fellow NOGLSTP board member and my good friend, John Burke.
I got to compose myself. That was pretty emotional for us, as you can tell. Thank you, John, for everything. I want to say congratulations to everybody tonight. Tonight was, this is the part where I tell you what happened, you know, tell you what I told you. Congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to our scholarship winners. Congratulations to oSTEM's chapter awards, leadership awards, founder awards. Congratulations to our recognition award recipients. Congratulations to everyone's patience for our surprise. It took a lot of work to pull that one off because, as you know, we had to keep it a secret from John. I want to remind you that tomorrow's events, tomorrow's Sunday. What happened? Sunday events begin with breakfast at 8, followed by our Out and Accomplished panel at 9, and it is not to be missed. I want to say now to you, this concludes the end of our formal evening. I want to say good night and have a great night, but I also want to tell you some things that maybe you might have been hearing in this room now and then, and it goes like this. Be proud, be daring, be bold, raise your voice, shine brighter than ever, raise your voice, be who you are. Good night.